So, welcome to my first podcast attempt. It's so new that I don't even have a name for this channel yet, but I'd like to maybe come on a couple of times a week and just update on a couple of stories in the Japanese news that I have found interesting during the week. And so this week I would like to introduce two stories which are bound by the same theme, which is urine. The first one, I guess a little bit appropriate because we've just gone through International Women's Day, and according to the Mainichi, once again, Japan's rating among the industrial nations for women's equality is extremely bad. And the story itself was connected to the upcoming Osaka Expo, which the news programs, the TV is quite excited about. But apparently, sometime in December, somebody posted on the Osaka Prefecture kind of notice board where they invite citizens' comments to say that during construction there are basically no women's toilets on the site, and therefore kind of female construction related workers, they have to kind of go to the toilet at the station in the morning and then just hold it until they come back in the evening. Yeah, I mean, until a couple of years ago, you would almost never see female construction workers on site. But recently, near where I work, they built a new site for Osaka University, and a lot of related construction and a big new tower block and things like that. And I've seen a couple of female workers around. But yeah, basically, whenever there's new construction, the if you're lucky, you'll get a couple of portaloos on site. But for very basic house construction, basically they just like put a pipe in the ground, connect it to the sewer, and then just kind of like a little. It's almost like, what do you call it, like a jock strap shaped thing, and like literally just a tiny urinal with like no walls, and like the male workers just kind of piss into that, or maybe just a coffee can during the day. But the rise of female workers in Japanese construction sites has led to calls for more toilet facilities. Now, basically, it was a big game of pass the buck. Osaka Prefecture said we're not responsible directly for Osaka Expo, and you'll have to talk to the Japan Expo organizing committee. The organizing group said that on the blueprints there are female toilets, and I guess it just depends where you're working on the site. But apparently you could be up to 15 minutes away from any given toilet, which will completely consume any break time that you had. So yeah, a little bit of an equality issue coming up just ahead of the Osaka Expo, which launches, I think, in the middle of next month. The second story, I wish I had more details about this because I'm just going to tell you the bizarre details, and then I'm just kind of like leave you hanging, unfortunately. But basically, a nursery school director in Saitama, which is near Tokyo, has been arrested for property damage for urinating into, or at least putting urine into the drinking bottle, the water bottle of one of the 2-year-old male students who goes to his nursery, his daycare center. And he's admitted these charges, and he says it was kind of to discipline him because he wasn't doing what he was told. It's unclear at this point whether the boy actually drank any of this urine when it was put in, whether the boy knew there was urine in there in the first place. None of this is actually clear. The mother apparently discovered that there was yellow liquid in the bottle when she got home and contacted the police, presumably, having talked to the boy who told her about the urine, but none of this was actually in the story. But yes, apparently this nursery school director used urine in the water bottle of one of the students as a behavior deterrent. And yeah, the police have managed to arrest him for property damage at this point. We'll see how this one pans out. Obviously, if it turns out later that the child actually drank urine or whatever, the charges may be um, elevated, escalated, and things like that. In Japan, basically, they arrest you first for the easiest thing that they can arrest you for, the clearest crime that you've kind of committed at that point, and then they spend the extremely long interrogation period that they're allowed, finding out all the other bad things that you have done. So, yeah, Japan needs a lot of daycare facilities these days. A lot of families, both parents are working. It's actually quite a difficult system to get into in some places. Demand is very high. It's kind of based on a lottery system, but you kind of get points, get more chances of getting into this daycare, into these nurseries, if, for example, both parents are working, or if they're not living near, for example, their grandparents and things like that, so that they don't have as much opportunity to help, then you get more points in the lottery and things like that. And as you know, of course, the Japan birth rate is falling every year, fell to its lowest level again last year, and it doesn't help that there are no facilities for putting your child into daycare and nursery, and it certainly doesn't help that once you've put your child into daycare and nursery, that you may find that the director doesn't like your child and puts urine in their drinking utensil. So those are the two stories that caught my eye this week. Hope you enjoyed that. Hopefully this will become a channel, a regular thing. So at this point, I guess I have to say, please like and subscribe and hit the bell, whatever that means. See you next time.